Hey, Crystal here from ChristaCoDesign. Today we're learning how to make a basic double crochet beanie in all sizes. Okay, for materials, we are working in number 4 medium worsted weight yarn. I have here Lion Brand's Heartland. Estimated yarn needed by size is baby 0 to 3 months, you'll need 75 yards. Baby size 3 to 6 months, 80 yards. Baby size 6 to 12 months, 85 yards. Toddler size 90 yards, preschool size 93 yards, child size 95 yards, teen and small adult 100 yards, and medium large adult 105 yards of medium worsted weight yarn. So working with a 5mm US size H8 crochet hook, and you'll need your yarn needle, scissors, and measuring tape. This pattern we will be working in the round, so I'll start with a magic circle, sometimes known as magic ring, and we will work primarily in double crochets around, and you can finish your hat off with single crochet stitches. I'd love for you to check out the blog post for this video, ChristaCoDesign.com. Now when crocheting hats and garments, you'll need to be sure to check your gauge. Gauge is how we know if your item is going to turn out the same size. So for projects in the round like hats, I like to give the gauge in rounds. Rounds 1 through 3, if you measure across the circle, measure 3.75 inches. Now if yours is too big or too small, I can link up a tutorial on how to adjust your gauge for that, and you can change your hook size up or down to help you there. Okay, we'll be starting with our magic ring. If you're unfamiliar with the magic circle, you can chain 3 and slip stitch to the first chain to form a little circle that you'll work into. I'll demonstrate the magic circle for you now, and I can also link up a video tutorial for you in the description. Since we're working in double crochet, we'll start with 2 chains to get us up to height for double crochet stitches. Now when we work into our magic circle, we need to be sure to work over both of these strands here, our tail and the side of our loop we're working on. So we're going to place 1 double crochet inside the circle. Might have to pull up your loops a little to make them loose enough to go over both. Okay, that is our first stitch. I highly recommend, if working in the round is new for you, that you mark that first stitch with a stitch marker. Place 12 double crochets in the magic circle. Going over both the tail and the circle loop all the way around. Once we get all the way around, I will show you how to pull it closed and join your circle. Okay, I'm just going to take a second here to mark my first stitch and show you how to pull closed our magic circle. Remember, those first 2 chains do not count as a stitch, so we're marking the first actual double crochet that we made. That helps me really identify which loops to work into on my next round. Okay, find your yarn tail and pull while holding on to your work and see how it pulls closed there. Now we are going to join our round here, round 1, with a slip stitch to the top of our first double crochet, which we marked with a pink stitch marker here. Okay, and then at the end we will weave away that tail end nice and securely. Now we're going to begin round 2 for our hat, and here I'm going to demonstrate a chain 3 alternative. You're welcome to start with a regular chain 3, but this is my preferred way to start double crochet rows or rounds. And I'll link that tutorial up for you as well if you'd like a more in-depth look. For round 2, we're going to place 2 double crochets in each stitch around. Our beginning chain 3 or alternative counts as our first double crochet, so I marked it. Now going back into that same stitch, we'll place our second double crochet. Now in the next stitch, we're going to place 2 double crochets and continue that around. Then I'll show you how to end round 2. All right, we're at the end of round 2 here, and I want to show you up close how the last stitch of the round looks. Sometimes we can get confused between the last round of the last stitch of the round and that slip stitch, which is a tiny little thing there. I tighten mine very tight so that I don't get confused, and using the stitch marker helps. 2 double crochets in the last stitch, then we're going to join to our first double crochet, which we marked with a slip stitch. You'll end round 2 with 24 double crochet stitches. Start round 3, we'll begin with our chain 3. I'm using the alternative chain 3 here. Then we'll place a double crochet in the next stitch and a second double crochet in the same stitch. So we have 1 double crochet in the first stitch, which we'll mark here now, and 2 double crochets in the next. So we'll continue that as our pattern. Double crochet in the next stitch, then place 2 double crochets in the following stitch. Repeat that around. You'll end with 2 double crochets in your last stitch. Okay, here we are with 2 stitches left in our third row. So we have 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then in our final stitch we'll place 2 double crochets. You'll have 36 stitches total. Join with the slip stitch to the first stitch. Round 3 completes the number of rounds we need to increase for the baby to the 3-month size hat. Across your circle should measure about 3.75 inches. And then you go on to the next step. If you're making a larger hat, continue with round 4. For round 4, we start with our chain 3 alternative. Then we're going to place 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. In the following stitch, we're going to place 2 double crochets. That will be our repeat. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets in the next stitch. I'm going to finish off camera here, and then I'll meet you at the end of this round. Here we are at the end of round 4. We have 1 stitch left to work into, so we'll place 2 double crochets there and then slip stitch to join the round. You'll end with 48 stitches. Now your circle should measure about 4.75 inches to 5 inches, and this is where you stop increasing for sizes baby 3 months to 6 months, baby sizes 6 to 12 months, toddler sizes, and preschool sizes. All of those sizes can move on to the next step. If you're making child, teen, or adult, you want to increase the next round. So we'll start round 5. And for round 5, we are going to start with our chain 3. Then we'll place 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And then the following stitch we'll place 2 double crochets, both in the same stitch. And that will be a repeat around. 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, 2 double crochets in the next stitch after that. You'll end round 5 with 60 stitches. Teen and small adult can stop here. Medium and large adult are going to want to do another round of increases where you double crochet in 4 stitches and then you increase by placing 2 double crochets in the next, and you repeat that around until you have 72 stitches for that round. Once your circle is increased to the size you need for your hat size, it's time to work on the sides. Now for every round we will just place 1 double crochet in each stitch around. We start with our chain 3 or alternative like I'm doing here, and then we place 1 double crochet in each stitch around. When we get to the end of the round, we will join with a slip stitch and then continue. Now you'll just repeat a round of double crochets and join with a slip stitch for each round until your beanie reaches the height you need for the size you're making. For baby 0 to 3 month size hat, you'll repeat this round through number 11, or about 5.5 inches tall in hat height. For baby 3 to 6 months, you'll repeat through rounds 12, and your hat will be 6 inches tall. Babies 6 to 12 months will repeat through round 13 for 6.75 inches tall. Toddler size hats will go through round 14 for about a 7-inch tall hat. Preschool size will repeat through round 15 for a 7.5-inch tall hat. Child size will repeat through round 15 for a 7.75-inch tall hat. Teen and small adult will repeat through round 16 for about an 8-inch tall hat. And medium large adult will repeat rounds through round 16 for about an 8.5-inch tall hat. Now here I'm finishing up my first round of just double crochets around. So I place 1 double crochet in the last stitch and then join with a slip stitch. Then I'm ready to start my next round. Now you can see my hat is already starting to cup in like that. That's exactly what we want when making a hat. Because we're not increasing anymore, it will cup in. Now we're working the round, which means we're looking at the right side. So we'll have to flip it right side out once we are finished, or you can do it now in case you forget. Okay, once you have reached the height that your hat needs, you can be all finished. You can add an extra round of double crochets if you need. You can finish with a round of single crochet with the chain 1 and single crochet in each stitch around, then join with the slip stitch like we normally have been. And then the only thing that's left to do is to weave in your ends. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Be sure to visit the full pattern with all the sizes on my blog, ChristaCoDesign.com.